Hello, good evening, and welcome everyone to the Overwatch All-Star Brawl presented by Star Esports. This is a double elimination tournament dedicated to the Overwatch Tier 3 community, and it is powered by OmniCoach. Visit omnicoach.gg and use the promo code Star Esports for 10% off your first video package order. But for now, today we have Team Redacted and TE Lullaby in the lower bracket match we're going to show off today. I'm 3.007, and tonight I'm joined by Shy Guy.
Good evening, everybody.
And we have a fantastic match hopefully coming up for you guys tonight. We're actually, for once, not going to be starting on a control point. This one's going to be Temple of Anubis. Shy Guy, as far as assault starts go, how do you feel about that one?
You know, this is an interesting one. We actually saw Redacted play Temple of Anubis first in their last matchup, going up against Citizens. That's the one that sent them down to the lower bracket here today, where they will be fighting for their tournament lives at this point. And they had a decent showing on that map. They struggled a little bit to crack through point B, but their defense really didn't look too bad. They did end up losing that map, but it's going to be interesting to see. They were playing a lot of kind of divey stuff on the attack with the Winston and Diva as their two tanks. So it'll be interesting to see exactly if they stick with that strategy or if they've altered things up coming into the day.
Yeah, Temple of Anubis can be a tricky one. The spawn, at least the respawn nerf is in effect now, right? So at least the snowball potential is a little reduced. But as far as I'm concerned, I would definitely prefer to be in Redacted's shoes as opposed to Tidal Esports Lullaby. That's the TE, by the way. You'll probably catch that on your screen. I think I always prefer starting on defense. I feel like that gives you a bit more of an advantage.
I would tend to agree. I mean, I'm not of the opinion that it's a super impactful thing, but I like being able to kind of set the bar defensively and then know what you need to accomplish on the offense. Because then at that point, you can kind of dictate the pace that you need to set. If you give up an incredibly quick kind of snowbally take, then at that point you need to have a little bit of a sense of urgency on your attack, and that can be a thing that can set you back a little bit. It can make you play patiently or think that you need to make big plays, but in general, just having the most information possible is usually going to be
That's an excellent point, and I can't really, that's pretty much the long and short of it. Honestly, the statistics might indicate that defense has a slight edge in terms of the overall map percentage win rate, but as far as these teams go, anything kind of goes, especially as you've said, after you've played your first round, that can really be said to be kind of the warm-up. Any team can warm up as much as they want, but there's no real substitute for competition.
No, absolutely not. I mean, and speaking of which, TE Lullaby so far in this tournament has gotten their fair share of competition. They dropped down to the lower bracket in the very first round and have since fought their way through 3 rounds of that lower bracket. So they are definitely kind of warmed up and playing at their best right now, making a pretty impressive run after a rough start to the tournament. It'll be very interesting to see if they can keep that going against Redacted, who I would say is probably the more established, the more favored team coming into this. But T Lullaby has been on a tear, and they have been very hard to stop.
Yeah, T Lullaby got sent down to the lower bracket, as you mentioned, quite early, but Redacted has made a decent run through it, only to get knocked down in a 3-0 event by Citizens. But they've gone up against their own particular set of opponents, SK Esports especially being one of those teams that has made kind of a name for themselves, but then also TE Lullaby was able to rip out in the second round of losers brackets. So you could say that if Tidal Esports Lullaby beat the team that Redacted beat, maybe they have a really good solid shot against Redacted. Again, it'll be difficult to say how these particular teams' strategies match up, but once we get the ball rolling, I have a feeling these teams are going to be quite evenly matched.
Yeah, I mean, and the results that you just talked about would definitely indicate the fact that both of these teams went 3-1 against SK Esports. Lullaby, of course, knocking them out of the tournament. Redacted sending them to the lower bracket in the first place suggests that we are in store for a pretty good matchup here tonight. These teams have performed at about the same level over the course of this tournament. Now, there's still a lot of room for variability. Anything can happen in a game of Overwatch. Even a 3-0 scoreline doesn't necessarily show you all the time that it was a stomp through and through. It can be a much closer affair than the score suggests. But just going off of the numbers, we think we're going to have a very entertaining series.
Yeah, on paper, definitely a solid matchup. On not paper, at least at the barest minimum, a 3-0 score does indicate that one of those maps was a tie. So that's particularly curious, especially given that Temple of Anubis is one of those maps that could potentially be fought to a tie. Now, the the glorious question is, ties tend to indicate some kind of insurmountable bunker composition that is going to hold out long enough, the 4 or 5 minutes necessary, or possibly past the first push. So with Redacted and Tidal Esports Lullaby, the 2-2-2 lock for competitive hasn't been enforced yet, but the meta has shifted. On Temple of Anubis, what would, Shy Guy, what do you feel is your personal favorite in terms of your solid defense that's going to rock you out the rest of the way?
So the defense that I anticipate seeing a lot of throughout the series, especially here on Anubis and in particular on point A, is definitely going to be some variation of bunker setup. I fully expect to see a whole lot of Orisa and Roadhog in the lineup for perhaps both of these teams, but in particular, I think Lullaby is going to lean on that pretty hard. They really like they're a team that kind of draws some inspiration, I would say, from the European contenders team Clockwork Vendetta. We'll see a lot of Mei and Torbjorn coming out from this team, but the bunker seems to be their go-to setup.
The Mei and Torbjorn I am super excited for. And yeah, the pulled pork is way too strong. Orisa's halt, Roadhog's hook, and if you have 2 tanks plus the DPS who can pretty much collapse on that hooked target, it pretty much guarantees a pick. And unless you hook the wrong target, like a Reinhardt or some kind of fleshy nonsense, and the DPS just isn't ready, yeah, maybe you're not going to get the pick, but otherwise it can be a very difficult composition to break, especially if you're running the Baptiste, which on Temple of Anubis, you have a lot of good opportunities to get maximum value out of that immortality field without having it really come under fire.
No, definitely. There's a lot of little cheeky angles that you can play it around kind of corners to give it a little bit more protection. You can use these pillars up on the high ground to give yourself a line of sight break so that no one shooting from the front can really get to that lamp. And indeed, it is going to be the Baptiste, at least coming out on the offense. It seems like Foggy Bear going to be playing the solo healing role, but running into a bunker on the defensive side of things as well. How will they be able to kind of crack through this first choke?
Now, I super like Brooks jumping up on the Widowmaker here, trying to get an early pick, also to try and get an early insight into what the enemy's team composition is going to be. And Lullaby is going to be sneaky a bit. They see the Hog, they see the Orisa shield. That's going to be pretty much it. And there's an opposing Widowmaker in the form of Love. So yeah, there they go. Brooks almost gets pulled out of there, but it looks like it's going to be almost a mirror comp. But yeah, it's the Mei Torbjorn for Esports.
Yes, the only difference, of course, the healers, the Mercy versus the Baptiste and Drake on that Drunkrat rather than Paduk on the Torbjorn. So a little bit more long range damage here for the attackers.
Yes, and Hog, ooh, there it is. So here we go. Karn is going to be sinking around the other side. They get the hook. They do not get the kill because they snagged themselves a Mei. That could potentially result in a bit of an early kill. Yes, Karn. No, there's the immortality field. Foggy Bear drops it. Going to keep them alive, and they're going to establish a little bit of a advanced point here on the little bunker of that map there.
Yeah, and the Amplification Matrix is going to force the defenders back away from this choke and let them move forward and take control of the high ground. Love already clicking heads.
Yeah, Love being able to take that little bridge there means that they have full vantage point on the field. There's not a lot of ground you can take. And wow, and Joker Tire already comes out for the defense. It gets taken away by Love, who again had that vantage point. And so with TE Lullaby making a very good play for the point, and the kills definitely going in their favor, this could be a very relatively rapid point Anubis.
And they just play that so patiently over the course of that first fight. Yes, it takes them a minute and a half here to capture point A, but they just slowly, incrementally make their way forward. They give Love the sightlines that he needs to work with, and he really makes the defenders pay.
not everyone gets to enjoy the advantages of a offensive Torbjorn, so to speak, but Esports Lullaby definitely makes it happen. So Max Demencio also going to be dropping in on the Mei to try and get some more of that action, and they already have their Mei ult as well, but here we go. The Orisa Overcharger going to be advancing this point with the Mei Blizzard already dropped already. Huge kills for the offense here.
Yes, Drake's just barely caught up in that Blizzard. Now the Ice Ball blocking out a little bit of Karn with the whole hog, but he is just pushing them away from the point right now.
Oh wow, Dembeck drops their Overcharger as well, but there's no one to take advantage of it, and they're eliminated from the point. Now Drake has to use their Immortality Matrix just to make a stand on the point, but Kuya gets D-Mech so fast, it almost didn't matter.
They are, slowly winning out this fight, but the defenders keep streaming back on, and they seem to be getting enough with Dimpek getting the kill on the Sezu, and they still have a chance.
Yeah, the trickly kills are huge. Brooks finding Foggy Bear, which is crazy huge. That means no heals, no immortality, no amplification. Not that they were relatively close to it. And then, yes, here we go. The defense is stabilizing. Well played to Redacted. They didn't even give up a tick.
Certainly, they found just enough over the course of that fight to keep things going. As the attackers on these assault maps, you really have to be winning a decisive engagement if you want to get progress here on point B. The spawn advantage is so severe, and that's a difficult thing to do when you are running into this bunker setup and you are using one of your own.
Yeah, so now we are going to be seeing the Tidal Esports Lullaby coalescing, grouping up, locking it up. They've got a few ults. They drop the infra sights. That means they can wall hack everyone on the map. Mei gets pulled into a bad position despite throwing it out. This is huge fight win for Redacted, though they did toss out at least the amplification matrix. They're holding onto the Blizzard. That's massive.
Yes, they use the dragons as well there, and Kuya getting demech'd means that he's headed back to spawn to change heroes, get back onto the Mei a second, but will lose all the ult charge there, so effectively another ultimate used.
Yeah, that's actually pretty crazy. Kuya was really good. Drake! Okay, so Drake snipes Love right out of the air. That's kind of nuts.
Yeah,
that's going to put a damper on this push.
They're just going to have to completely wait. They cannot really move forward, and Love has had enough. Getting shut down on this Widowmaker is going to be headed over to the McCree now.
I can see that. The flashbang is going to be good use, at least possibly pulling out that pick, which this composition is geared towards. Oh, and hey, look at that. So here you go. The Blizzard and the amplification. Oh, Hero going very low. I don't even see how that happened. The damage going through the shield was just so crazy. And then Brooks with the storm arrows and probably some additional tree trunk sized headshots. Another push defeated before it even made it through the choke.
Well, this is kind of what can happen when you are only running that one healer from Foggy Bear. There are going to be windows where either she is paying attention to another hero, she is reloading that Batiste ammo, and in those moments, Hero is going to be pretty vulnerable.
Orisa's shield does only have 900 HP. Excuse me, its uptime is quite high, but you're not always going to get... If the Hanzo on the other team is reserving a Storm Arrows for it, you're never going to get the action. But it looks like the push is going in full degree.
Yes, they're going to be pushing into the amplificant, or the supercharger, and already it has claimed Love's life.
And there we go, Molten Core throw down through an amplification matrix. I'm not quite sure on the numbers on how that one works, but it at least deletes the construction from the other team. Sezuin manages to find Gunta. Paduk has gone down. Whole Hog is going to demech Kuya, so now we're looking at a quasi-man advantage for TE Lullaby. Dragons on the field has something to say about that. It does find Seziun. It's also going to lead to Karn's death. So again, Redacted stabilizes, but this time Lullaby comes away with a tick.
Certainly, but that's not really what they're looking for at this point. Their time is dwindling rapidly. We're under a minute at this point, and they blew pretty much everything to try to push in there. The Matrix, the Molten Core, everything pretty much except for the Supercharger out from Hero, and it's hard to see that winning a fight on its own for the attackers.
Yeah, especially with Love switching over now to a Reaper. This can sometimes be seen as a desperation pick, but this might be an advanced stall pick. And Brooks picking off Seziun early on into this push means that they are going to be, Lullaby that is going to be very short on options. The Charger and the Amplificated Matrix have to come in, and Kuya's got a stalling bomb, so here it goes.
He's just going to throw it in right away there. They're all grouped up in this room. It is only going to take down the turret of Padauk, but they are pushing forward aggressively. They know they have the advantage.
And Love drops onto the point. They're going to do the best they can, but it's just way too many kills coming out from Redacted. They're going to get frozen. They're going to find Gunther, but they're also going to die. It's a couple seconds left. There's no way anyone's going to get onto the point. That's it! So Redacted, with a semi-perfect hold, going to be now moving to the offense.
It was a great heads-up play to close out that fight. They knew they had already gotten the opening pick. They knew they had the 6v5, so they press their advantage. They throw the bomb in to bait out some cooldowns, and then they follow up beautifully on top of it to secure the hold here on it.
Yeah, really brilliant play coming out from Redacted. Gonna throw it out there for Tidal Esports. They did manage to at least take a tick and a bit. So this does set the stage for a Tidal Esports win if they can hack it. Even if they lose point A, there is a possibility that they can hold point B to below what Redacted was able to hold, or rather take it, that is, and they'll technically win the map. Now, Redacted, however, they have actually their work well cut out for them. Take point A and then grab, I think, maybe, there it is, 46.7% of the next point. So it's going to be interesting. I'm curious how Redacted, if they want to blitz this, if they're going to be patient like Tidal Esports was.
Certainly, from the starting screen, it looks like we might be seeing a little bit more, of a blitz style attack here with those kind of flanking DPS. We'll see if that actually sticks around once the heroes get locked in. But it's the tried and true coming out for TE Lullaby here. They continue to want to run Foggy Bear as the solo healer in this comp. So she has a lot of responsibility in this team to keep everyone healed up and to make sure that she doesn't go down early. If she gets sniped out by Max Dimencio or Brooks early on in this fight, it can be over in an instant.
Yeah, it's super spooky. Solo heals on Baptiste. It's not something you see often. They are capable of quite a prodigious quantity of heals, but wow, there it is. So Love is also about the Widowmaker, by the way. That's going to be some of that advanced action we were seeing earlier. And it looks like Redacted isn't really sure how they want to do this. They're almost not even sure how they want to exit out. Dembeck is caught so handcuffed that they get headshotted.
Yeah, the rest of his team rotates out around to the left-hand side, trying to avoid the line of sight of Love. Dimbeck, not so lucky, gets 2 headshots to the dome and immediately taken out of the fight.
Yeah, interesting to see someone get domed, and that's going to chew up a good 50 seconds. Kuya, however, getting demeched again very early. Tidal Esports looking very good on their defense, but someone already touching onto the point. They're going to dash away very quickly, but Dembeck again pulling a bit of a froggy there, getting ripped apart very quickly from back in the day. And now it's looking kind of an even fight as Padauk's turret just gets to do its job, taking damage away from everyone.
Certainly, and the composition that Redacted are running right now is going to have a really hard time in these neutral fights. They need to build up some ultimates. They need to get to a Nano Blade. They need to get to an EMP if they really want to be able to crack this bunker. So it's unsurprising to see them lose these first fights. It's just how quickly can they turn things in their favor.
Yeah, the big question is going to be how quick can Max Dimencio grab their... Oh, there it is. There's the nano boost, but it goes on to a dying Diva. So I don't think Drake may have necessarily was targeting Kuya there. Max Dimencio is now left with a blade with no nano as Tidal Esports once again crush another push. Now we're sitting on 2 minutes. A bunch of ults from both sides. Either could tip it, but I don't think that was what Redacted really wanted in that one.
No, they would definitely like to have that push back, but they will still be approaching an EMP out from Brooks. That's the big ultimate for this composition. That's the best way that they have to handle this bunker setup. So he needs to get in the right position. He needs to build up to this before his team can really go in effectively.
Yeah, it's going to be huge how they handled that. Now, there it is. Yes, the Overchargers come out from Tidal Esports. They're rocking super damage. Karn has already murdered Drake. There's a bit of a Gunter Lucio in the backline trying to make a problem for Love, but they take care of it pretty easily. The big hack goes in. They get sniped for their crimes. Sezyun's Blizzard even gets eaten, though, so that's kind of a good turnaround, but Max Dimencio's blade ultimately results in nada squat.
He has to take time out of his blade to destroy that immortality field coming out from Foggy Bear, and then by the time he's done that, Sezuin just freezes and up, make sure he's not going to get anything done with that blade. They do get the opening pick here onto Love, who overstretched a little bit there. So now an opportunity for Redacted to come in here aggressively.
Yeah, that was fantastic. That was almost, I think that was it. I think that was the game, the point of losing play right there. Losing a healer that early is something you cannot afford. So yeah, Redacted's gonna take point A pretty easily, which again makes perfect sense. You can't pull that off if you're gonna be that aggressive.
No, just Love going a little bit too far there, and it does cost his team a bit, as now they've got to make their stand on point B. 3.5 minutes to defend here, and just under half a tick required for Redacted. So they're happy with their point A attack. How much can they make a point B?
Yes, and now the Molten Core has come out. There's going to be some CC going on. Lots of good stuff from Tidal Esports, but Redacted definitely could potentially have the recipe for disaster, except it's difficult to say, but the kills going, it looks like in the case of Tidal Esports, who have eliminated off the field, but Gunter finding Foggy Bear, that's not going to be good, though Sezion following up on Max Dimencio means I think there's going to be a bit of a stabilization here, and Redacted is going to have their work cut out for them.
They absolutely will. Lullaby, they know that they need to stabilize there. They can't afford a snowball coming out, so they throw several ultimates in the fight. It works out pretty well for them, and they're able to hang on here. The next push is going to be pretty key, but some swaps coming in for the side of Redacted. Gunther going over to the Mercy now.
Yeah, Mercy's going to be able to provide at least some of that res, maybe keep the fight alive, necessary for Abyss, but Sezion throws out the Blizzard. That's going to freeze a lot of folk. Yeah, Tidal Esports going to be cleaning up on this one. I assume maybe potentially this was just an ult push coming out from Redacted, and ult push it was. You've got Dembeck having tossed out the Primal Rage, but Drake and Max Dimencio looking very close to that Nanoblade. Meanwhile, however, though, Hero, Paduk, and probably Karn and Love also going to be very close to their ultimates. Yeah, Love's got it.
Yeah, that EMP is going to be massive in this next fight. You know, unless Max Dimencio can really pop off with the blade here, they're going to be in a bit of a rough spot as they're slowly running out of time here on Anubis. They don't have a lot of failed pushes left to go at this point, so they really need to make something happen in the near future.
Yeah, this is either a 2-fight game or a 1-fight plus a stall game, and I think this next push is going to make it happen. Yeah, there's the Nano Blade. It goes in perfectly. The hack comes in a little bit late, and it doesn't really catch anyone, actually. It catches Kuya, and they are going to get stunned and obliterated into oblivion. But the anti-nade also is kind of huge. That's going to result in the death of quite a few. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just a poor hero left on the point, and that means no Redacted, and that means no progress.
Most definitely. They're starting to look a little bit desperate here. Max Dimencio now briefly contemplating the Reaper swap, going to go with the Mei as they roll into point B. They are running out of opportunities here, and they are about to be pushing into a pretty loaded TE Lullaby. The Blizzard, the Amp Matrix, the whole hog, all ready to go for this next fight.
Yeah, Dragon's now throwing right into the phone. The Immortality Field, of course, going to be keeping everyone alive. But when that goes down, your damage is good. Kuya throws the big bomb in, grabs Hero, Foggy Bear. Max Dimencio finds their counterpoint on Sezion, but not before they throw out the Blizzard. But too many kills go in. Karn even killed by the Sonic Arrow. Oh, the flex. The kill is in. It's there. Point A is almost done. Love the last Bastion.
And that's it. Redacted at the 11th hour come up with the victory there. The beautiful play, throwing out the Dragon Strike to bait out that Immortality Field. It was no longer available, and I have a feeling what we might be seeing here, I think it's going to be the bomb to close things out. The angle is beautiful from Kuya here, puts it right up behind that shield and opens things up perfectly for his team.
Yeah, that was some crazy diva placement right there. The play was fantastic, but I want to emphasize we came down to the very last minute there. Neither team was really showing crazy dominance. Both had amazing defenses on point B. It's just a lack of a full capture on an assault map means that the follow-up team really only has to they only have to match your progress, and it helps to be in that position. So you collect your ults, you do your thing, but I think we're in for a really good series.
Absolutely. These teams very evenly matched. And like you said, the defenses so far looking a little bit stronger than those attacks. Both teams struggling to crack through on point B. But ultimately it's Redacted who come up with the plays in the clutch to take map one, get a lead in this series, and get themselves, one step closer to moving on in the lower bracket.
Speaking of which, as we move on through this particular series, this is the map ban phase where Redacted will now ban a map and Tidal Esports Lullaby is going to pick the next map. But before we get into it, we're going to remind you, first of all, below the stream, there's the Twitch Picks MVP poll. So make sure that you make it known who your favorite player is in this matchup, or maybe hold on to your vote because we've got a lot more Overwatch to play. And of course, if you're liking what you're seeing, drop us a follow, and if you're feeling real blitzy tonight, throw us a subscribe. We love creating this for you, and we love having you here.
Yeah, and we have had a fantastic series so far, and now as we get into the map ban phase, looks like Numbani going to be taken off the board here by Redacted.
I can see that. I can understand that. Numbani is not exactly a map that I think a lot of teams like to play. So it's common for it to be eliminated. I'm surprised that some of the other popularly eliminatable maps were not thrown out. For example, Horizon Lunar Colony.
Certainly. Maybe they just think no one's going to pick Horizon, so they don't even need to bother wasting a ban on it. So, and I think they might be right. Looks like we're headed to King's Row for map 2, which is an interesting choice here coming out from TE Lullaby. I would have expected to perhaps see them take us to maybe more bunker favored maps, because that's what they ran for most of that first map here. So something like a Hollywood wouldn't have surprised me, but I don't think this is a bad option by any means.
Yeah, the only problem, unfortunately, for esports, or rather for Tidal Esports Lullaby, is that King's Row is not in the map pool for this particular tournament. So instead of a hybrid map, however, they are going to be moving to a King of the Hill matchup, which Lijiang Tower tends to be the opening map for our games in this particular tournament. And I super like it. Each particular round of King of the Hill played in best out of 3 results in a lot of differing compositions. So I'm super excited to see what comes out from both of these teams.
No, absolutely. I mean, and that's kind of the case with any of the control maps, but I think Lijiang Tower definitely perhaps the best of all of them. I mean, it's the classic control map in my mind. When I think Overwatch and I think control, Lijiang Tower is the first thing that pops into my head.
Yeah, Lijiang Tower, especially on the command center where we appear to have been dropped into. Back in a few patches ago, a couple weeks ago, as quickly as this game moves, this would have been the map where you'd play 3 tanks, 3 supports, or maybe even 2 tanks, 1 Mei, 3 supports, and have a really good time with your ice walls and your grabs and your shatters. Now, however, I'm not sure, but before the 2-2-2 lock hits, that's kind of still a viable strategy, but if you were to play the Orisa Hog, I wouldn't be upset because it is just so gosh darn strong at this moment.
Yeah, I mean, we have just seen team after team after team kind of go away from that 3-3 direction and that 3-3 style. It really isn't getting a lot of play, even though for a little while longer it is still on the table. Not going to be the case here tonight. The Orisa Hog on both sides. Again, we're pretty close to mirror compositions here, but the triple DPS coming out once again for TU Lullaby.
I am not surprised at all in the slightest that Tidal Esports is dropping out the Torbjorn and the Mei. Once again, I love it. But however, the immediate engagement leads to Tidal Esports' shield being shattered much earlier. Karn is going to go down much faster in this fight. Foggy Bear's Immortality Matrix goes down a lot faster. And yes, Paduk's turret has found Orisa. That gets rezzed very quickly, and the kills are still going to be going in favor of Redacted here for this point fight.
Especially as they get that res onto Dimback, they're just going to be able to sustain through this fight so much better than TU Lullaby, who had already lost both of their tanks, didn't have the opportunity to res them back into the fight. So first control going over to Redacted.
Yeah, and again with that last pulled pork hit onto Seziun, you can kind of see where Redacted is on their coordination. They're ready, they're with it. They are willing to commit cooldowns to make the stalls happen. And yes, wow, Hero's shield is going down so quickly. Brooks' Hanzo is donating so much incredible damage that Seziun has no choice but to throw the Mei wall out early, and that's going to lead to some interesting wall situations here.
Yes, the Dragons coming in from Brooks are kind of keeping the team separated for the time being, and that's just going to be easy cleanup for Redacted as they surge forward. They only have to use a couple of ultimates to hold on. They are looking incredible right now.
Yep. Kuya is getting very close to their whole hog as well, so they're looking at a very good position right now. Meanwhile, however, Foggy Bear has an amplification matrix of their own, while Paduk is going to be looking at some area denial. I'm curious how they're going to be able to use this on offense, but no diva means good times.
Certainly, and they might even have the Blizzard to throw out as well, so the double area denial abilities can be incredibly powerful, but it's going to be the Blizzard out from Redacted to opening things up, and the hook and the shots on the Hero just take him out of the fight immediately.
Yeah, that's crazy. You saw the pull Hero right up into the sky. The hook couldn't happen, but Brooks was there with the Storm Arrow and also with the ultimate charge necessary to bring a Dragons into the next fight. As we go into 85%, TE Lullaby, they got pretty much one more shot here, but boy, is it going to be an ult charged one.
They do at least have all of the tools you could really want here, but the Dragons out early going to make this a hard entry.
Yeah, Paduk goes down very quickly, trying to throw the Molten Core into the air. But this is going to be pretty solid again for Redacted, who just seem to have the right combination of cooldowns, good times, and area control to keep TE Lullaby from ever even stepping foot on the point.
That was incredibly impressive there from Redacted, and I think we're kind of seeing a continuation of what we've seen throughout the series. Both of these teams having a little bit of trouble attacking into the other, so once they get control, Lullaby just not really able to find their entries to really get any footing on the point for the rest of the round.
Yeah, 0 to 100 on a control point map is rough. If you never manage to take control, that sets your mind into a bad place going into what is ultimately map point for Redacted, and it looks like they're going to be bringing out pretty much exactly the same thing they had. Meanwhile, Paduk has flipped off of the Torbjorn onto his Zenyatta. Hopefully that extra Discord damage will give them an edge in this fight.
Yes, and I think... There we go, but the res is going to be there from Gunther, so really not too bad of a situation for Redacted. They're going to rotate around the back for the time being.
And ultimately, that does at least eliminate that cooldown for the time being, but the hook comes in on Brooks thanks to the pulled pork combination, and the ferocious Mei wall coming out from Seziun means that Love gets to steal a lot of credit here. But Tidal Esports Lullaby looking very strong on this particular matchup.
That was a cheeky little halt hook there coming out from Tidal Esports, going through the window rather than the door where Redacted were pushing through. So now they got first control this time, and I think Redacted making the smart play here. They know if they stick with the Orisa hog of their own, it's going to be very difficult to push through.
Love even already has the wall hacks ultimate ready to go, and it looks like Redacted is not willing to step into the field here, so they are going to take their time getting ready to rock and roll. But yeah, Dembeck swapping onto the Winston, Brooks back rather off the Hanzo onto the Sombra, but ultimately it looks like TE Lullaby is going to have a dandy time with this particular composition. A dry run for Redacted, if you will.
Yeah, they handle that dive incredibly well. Love just sitting up on the high ground pretty much unopposed in that fight. Able to put a ton of damage down onto Dimbeck as he dives in, so he can't stick around very long, goes down incredibly early. So Redacted going to have to be trying once again to come in here, and they lost that fight so quickly that they didn't really have a chance to build up to any ultimates.
Yeah, which is a shame because Drake was hitting some really sick anti-nades. Ultimately, it didn't result in any kills nor in any good times. But there it is. Brooks finds Paduk. But man, TE Lullaby doing fantastically on this defense. The dive is something they've clearly got a lot of experience dealing with.
Certainly, and right now, I don't think Redacted are really making it all that difficult on them. They're really just diving straight in with Dimbeck and Max Domincio, and it hasn't gotten much in the way of results so far. They're about to be up to Brooks's first EMP, but they might not really get a chance to get much out of it.
Speaking of which, Love is going to find Drake very early on. The one ultimate that they even had to bring to the fight has been eliminated quite quickly. Dembeck goes down. Brooks also not even going to get out the EMP. A Blizzard from Sezion is on the point. It ultimately really doesn't matter because another 0 to 100 match has been affected, and we're going into round 3, that is, for this particular King of the Hill.
Yeah, literally just no one can attack right now. No one can unbunker anybody at this point. And, you know, I think it kind of fits with what we've been seeing recently in the meta. These defensive setups are so hard to break. I mean, it requires an overwhelming amount of ultimates, and when you are redacted in that last map, you just never had time to build up to them. You literally never got to use a single ultimate in that round, I don't think.
Yeah, that was a really rough situation, and TE Lullaby definitely held the field and controlled it in its entirety. Now, however, we're moving into some interesting territory. I don't see Forest coming out, but there's a skybox you can really take advantage of here. But Brooks swapping onto the Ashe, this could be super interesting.
I mean, I think he might have made that swap in anticipation of a Pharah coming out for TE Lullaby. It is not going to be the case. They're sticking with what worked pretty well there on Night Market as we roll into Garden's Love. Just looking for some cheeky shots right now. Sure to fall back before that halt comes through.
It's fantastic. It allows the rest of TE Lullaby to make a statement on the point, but the pulled pork comes in for Redacted, and instead Brooks, oh, so there it is. Brooks wins that little duel off to the side. They're even going to find Foggy Bear. Okay, this is crazy. Redacted now finding their feet back underneath them, and Brooks swapping onto the Ashe seems to have been the recipe.
I mean, right there, Redacted just trusts their DPS player to win that duel. They are willing to go contest TE Lullaby on the point. They are able to stick around until Brooks wins the 1v1, and then they just collapse onto the remaining members of Lullaby.
Fantastic play. I'm curious if we're going to see some of that similar 0 to 100 action, but with Foggy Bear now on the Mercy instead of the Baptiste, going to be grabbing some of that damage boosting. It might be the recipe for busting through. Yep, there it is. Dembeck's shield goes right down.
They were ready for it. They got the swap over to the Hanzo as well, but now they're trying to deal with this Ant Matrix.
Yeah, there it is. Brooks, the Dynamite, the Bob, even the res on the card is now... Wait, hang on a second. Whoa, wait a minute. This was supposed to be Redacted's hold.
I mean, it looks like that is still probably going to be the case unless Love can come around on this flank and really find something. They clean up onto Karnan. There's just no presence on the point for Lullaby at this point.
Yeah, Max Dimencio being able to take advantage of that hog action is going to be the key here. With a triple tank, which we're not going to be seeing much more of, Redacted's defense is going to be very difficult to bust here. Though Sezion building up to that Blizzard, that might be the recipe, that might be the ingredient, rather, for a point take.
That opening pick is going to be beautiful for them. The Brooks is going to get res back up pretty immediately, and Love punished for his insolence.
Though they do get res pretty quickly, and Foggy Bear is actually even able to survive thanks to that resable target. Huge. Paduk grabs Drake, also grabs Kuya. Max Dimencio throws down the supercharger, but this is looking pretty good for TE Lullaby, who might finally be able to take this point in the first point flip we'll have seen this entire map.
That's true. They do finally do it here. So now, I mean, yes, Redacted are at 92% on the board, but they now have to figure out how to do what they could not on Night Market. They've got to retake the point away from Tidal Esports right now, who are still looking pretty good in the ult department with that Blizzard, that Dragon Strike ready to go.
Yeah, and this is only helping them. D-meching Kuya very early on, who commits suicide just to make it, just to get back into their mech and not lose any ult charge, which I super 100% am on board with. Yes, maybe Redacted is in one-fight territory, but their ultimates don't indicate that they can win any single fight unless some kind of mechanical genius pops out. Meanwhile, Sezion, Paduk, Love, even Foggy Bear, Karn, and honestly, Heroes probably... Oh, no.
Just in the split second before that shield actually goes down, Dimbeck takes the shot to the head. In the meantime, Max Dimencio hooked off the edge, so they're going to have to hold up and just bide their time before they really try to push in here.
And one of my most favorite things on the planet, Karn hooks their counterpart Max Dimencio into the obliteration of the insta-gib off environmental kill. Wow, okay, so Tidal Esports, they seem to not only have the big six, but have really locked up their defense here.
I mean, they've got these two snipers along with the spam coming in from Sezion. The getting through these choke points is so perilous right now for Dimpak.
Oh.
He's not even on a choke. He is so far back near their spawn. To continue to die like this is just brutal to see.
Projectile damage, best damage, has no drop-off no matter the distance, and Widowmaker, of course, has a good time. Brooks! Even Brooks goes down thanks to the damage-boosting glory of the pull from Arisa, and Mercy backing Love up. This is crazy, and yeah, Redacted have to make a play for the point now. But there, Maximus, who even goes down in the main walls there with the big dragons. This is huge. Esports looking very good, taking this point, gonna hold it for good. No overtime needed.
There we go. TE Lullaby turn things around here on Lijiang Tower. I was a little worried after that first point, but they come back incredibly strong on the last two. They're showing you a kind of unique take on these bunker setups, running these triple DPS looks, and really finding a lot of success at times. There, the damage through those choke points just overwhelming Redacted and really taking control of the series, giving us a tie here after 2 maps.
Yeah, I'm not saying that I thought Tidal Esports was teabagging, sandbagging, so to speak. But the fact of the matter is, once Paduk swapped off of the Torbjorn, that team really started activating. And now we're going in 1-1, and we've got ourselves a hell of a series. So the map ban phase, curious as to what Redacted's going to be coming. What Redacted is going to redact, so to speak.
Oh, and now we are going to be moving forward in the series, and it's a whole new ball game there with TE Lullaby evening things up. We now really have no clue where this series is going. I thought Redacted was looking very strong to start out, but time and time again, we are just seeing that the styles that these two teams are liking to play, these defensive bunker setups, are so hard to unseat and to push away from their defensive positions. That I think kind of the first team the team that finds the best answer to that throughout the series is going to be the one that comes away with it. And so far, we're getting mixed results.
Yeah, Lullaby being the only team on that particular map to actually execute a point flip, I think speaks volumes. They were the ones who were able to break through a defense, Redacted's in this case, and then actually hold it. So I think that might be a pretty interesting sign. Tidal Esports banning Dorado. An interesting choice there. So maybe they don't feel like handling that particular situation, though that for Escort does only leave Junkertown. Okay, hang on a second. Redacted's going right for Hollywood. Speaking of bunkers that are hard to bust.
Yeah, this is point A. I mean, this is one where I could legitimately see us going into this and coming away with a 0-0 tie on this map. Given what we've seen so far, neither team has had a lot of success pushing, but we'll cross that bridge if we come to it. For now, Redacted comfortable enough to be taking us here with this series kind of up in the air right now.
Yeah, and we haven't seen either team bust out a Bastion yet, but I think this is going to be the big opportunity. Yeah, Tidal Esports electing to start onto the defense on this Hollywood, which is going to start with the point take and then going into the escort phase, the payload pushing. So I'm genuinely curious. We've seen the Torbjorn come out from TE Lullaby. It hasn't been working so great on their particular offense. This is a situation where I would say, Paduk, rock that Torbjorn. I think you got this.
That's definitely possible here on Hollywood. The one thing that comes with running that Torbjorn is that Paduk seems to be the player who would flex over to a second healer, when they do like to do that. And I'm still not sure that I'm entirely sold on Foggy Bear running this solo healing Batiste that they've been going with so often here. I don't know that it is reliable enough to consistently be able to hold here on Hollywood. I'm gonna be interested to see exactly what setup they come out with, because while I like the Torb, I'm not sure that it overall results in the best composition for TE Lullaby.
Yeah, if there's no one else who can flex onto that support role reliably, maybe even the Ana to get some of those anti-nade action going, it's gonna be rough times. From the defense, Paduk, they're gonna be sticking onto the Zenyatta as they leave the spawn. No, hang on, we're getting debated. We're getting heavily debated.
Where are they? They're all still in spawn right now, so I don't think this is gonna be real. There we go.
Yeah. Okay.
What,
Oh no, there it is.
Wouldn't it be wacky if they had played that composition? I mean, can you even imagine a team rolling out with 3 tanks and 3 supports? I mean, come on.
It's definitely never been done in Overwatch before. Honestly, it would have been groundbreaking. Honestly, one of the most unique compositions ever to grace the field. Meanwhile, however, looking at the offense coming out from Redacted, Brooks being back on the Ashe, I think that's not going to be a good sign for this bunker here, where Foggy Bear is again solo healing.
Yes, but where are the tanks, Redacted? Where are they? I see. Okay, Dimbeck makes the swap over to the Orisa. It's just gonna be 3 DPS in the lineup rather than the 4-pack they were trying to give us for a second there. They will. I like this style for breaking the bunker setup of TE Lullaby. The poke damage is just gonna be kind of overwhelming.
Yes, and Kuya on the wow, okay, hang on. So Love popping off, I don't know if that was necessarily in the books for Redacted.
No, they were trying to avoid that exact situation, and it's going to leave them short a member even after Brooks gets rezzed back up. He's on the flank along with Gunther, trying to wrap around the back and find an angle to put some damage in onto this defensive setup, but so far Karn just ruling the high ground.
Yeah, even with the Immortality Field, Love is going to make short works of Brooks again. The Torbjorn turret goes down, but Paducah's been doing some serious work. Karn's even going to find Gunther without nary so much as a how do you do. Redacted is having a lot of trouble busting in through this point.
I mean, now they've tried to swap Maximencio over to the Reaper, perhaps to put a little bit more pressure on Karn, but you see how well that went. He gets hooked up there towards the end of that fight, taken out immediately. So far, things looking very strong here for TE Lullaby.
Yeah, I'm going to be throwing money for TE Lullaby currently, but big ults coming out now for Redacted. This could be the ultimate making it happen. Yep, so Brooks finally wins the sniper duel there. Dragons goes on to the point, splits the team. Immortality Matrix Up's going to keep everyone alive. Bob gets frozen. The Blizzard even is going to kill. Wow, Bob actually goes down. TE Lullaby just doing a fantastic defense here.
Certainly that Blizzard providing so much zoning. The res is back in onto Dimbeck, so a 6v6 going forward.
All right, this is just ridiculous. The amount of kills. All right, so hang on. Here we go. Redacted has set up a bit of a beachhead, and they are starting to get the kills necessary to take the point. Yes, there we go. There's not enough members of TE Lullaby to hold this point. So with a minute and a half left, they're finally going to start the streets phase, but mama, what a defense.
That was a chaotic final fight there. Pretty much every ultimate coming out from the side of Lullaby there, but they can't hang on. In the end, it's the amplification matrix that really does it for Redacted, as they are able to push forward. They get some momentum on this cart, and now the pressure has shifted a little bit back over to Tidal Esports.
Yeah, so they are now going to be finally making the push, that is to say Redacted, but they have no ultimates to speak of. Brooks is going to have Bob again very quickly, but the pick focus composition of Tidal Esports is going to make it very difficult. But Hero going down early is not good. Dragon's going right onto the point, gets 2 kills, that's almost unheard of, and a Sonic Arrow for Seziun means that this is a tad of a snowball potential here.
Certainly, especially if they can get this chase down kill onto Love, who's trying to escape, will get out with his life, going back to the safety of his team. But they have lost control of the high ground now. They have lost control of the cart, and so much movement being gained here for Redacted.
Yeah, so with that being said, Love immediately eliminating Brooks from the high ground means that TE Esports is still going to have a good time making this defense, though Max Demencio throwing out their Blizzard, along with no counter from Seziun, means that Bob getting thrown into the point is going to have a great time? Negatory. Instead, it's going to be a stabilizing defense coming out from TE Esports.
Yeah, that Bob from Brooks just in an awkward position there, you know. Tidal able to just push forward aggressively, LOS the Bob and keep them away. But the real key to that fight was Love opening things up. He gets up onto the high ground, takes down Brooks, and then eventually gets Gunther as well when he tries to go for the res. So excellent play from the sniper there for Tidal.
Yeah, as far as Hollywood maps going, excuse me, ending just before point B, this is a pretty common situation. Ultimate-wise, Lullaby looking pretty solid on their defense. It's going to be interesting how Redacted choose to fight this, but they're going to leave with the overcharge and get melted immediately.
Yeah, Dimbeck just puts it out in the open. He is going to get res back up, but they haven't been able to get much use out of that supercharger, just getting pushed back, eventually eliminated. But they are able to finally find some progress here with the kill onto Hero.
Yeah, Karn's whole hog looks like it was putting a lot of pressure on, but instead, Hero goes down. Brooks commits suicide, probably via dynamite. But Kuya finding love means that Redacted is going to pretty much sail almost all the way to point.
No. Oh, Foggy Bear puts down the Amp Matrix, but in the wrong direction there. He can't use it at all. And they just clean him up, are going to be able to get Hero as well and push through to point B.
It's sad, boys, when you get that, you hit the button just a little too often. Kuya even going to be a little bit of the stagger onto Love, who has swapped over to McCree as we go into the final phase, which, yes, does not necessarily favor the Widowmaker.
Definitely not. But he's going back over the McCree. It hasn't quite had as much success on that pick as the Widowmaker, but actually going to be the Tracer here towards the end of the map. Gonna have to be very careful playing around Brooks and Kuya and Max Dimencio. The potential for a one-shot kill is very high.
One-shot kill being the name of the game here. Karn and Hero find Brooks, they murder them. Gunther is going to get the res, and the Amp Matrix going onto the cart, that's huge. Big kills now coming in for Redacted. Wow, boy, are they looking solid on this final push here.
No, they have kind of found their footing here on the attack, and they've got Tidal Esports pushed back aggressively. It's going to be Paduk and Foggy Bear up on the high ground trying to keep things going, but they are getting swarmed.
Yeah, it's not good. Kuya's Storm Arrows getting 2 kills there is kind of ridiculous. Karn has built up to another whole hog. They're even going to kill Dembeck, but the man advantage going in. Wow, Love, however, finding Kuya. Okay, hang on a second. This stall looks like it has some life here.
Especially with that Amp Matrix out from Foggy Bear, going to put a lot of healing down onto the cart. He keeps jumping over. It has to be there to keep the stall going. They need to find another pick or two to have a possibility of turning this one around. But it doesn't.
Yeah, very ballsy dragons going in way down the field, but that may have created the separation needed. Brooks, Drake getting the kills necessary. This could be it. If they can finish it with time on the clock, that's huge. But stall from TE Lullaby is too strong.
So far it is, at least, but they haven't been able to find any kills in a while. And with Love going down, there goes the end of that stall. It does crucially get the time bank under a minute for Redacted. So as long as Tidal Esports can go through and finish the map, they will have another opportunity to attack here on Hollywood.
Yeah, this is a fantastic situation for the TE Lullaby. Redacted did manage to finish the map, but, you know, Shy Guy says it pretty much long and short of it. They knocked them to 39 seconds. Yeah, that's good. That's good times.
It's not bad, but you have to take into account how difficult just in general it has been to push so far in this series. And if you're Redacted, I think you're incredibly happy with that. Finishing the map here is all you really can, hope for in a situation like this. It's going to be hard to get those 3-4 minute time banks that we used to see under the GOATS meta. You just don't get those same kind of snowballs for the most part, especially with how long it took them to crack through on point A.
Yeah, and that does seem to be the defining characteristic of the series. How long can the defense hold, and how much time can the defense stall out from the attacking team? So in this particular instance, now we're going to be looking at Redacted. They have the defense coming out. It's pretty much the standard thing that they've been throwing out. Max Dimencio is going to be on the Mei. It's the pulled pork. Brooks back on that Hanzo, and we've all seen how quickly Hero's shields get obliterated under that storm.
Absolutely, and I love that they continue to run Gunther on this Mercy. The res is so valuable when both teams are running these poke compositions. You lose one person to a headshot from Love, and the fight is not immediately over.
Yeah, kind of counters Widowmaker's mechanical ability to delete a player from the map. They're going for the trick shot. They're not going to be able to find it, and instead, Paduk is actually going to be swapping back onto the Hanzo. Big hook onto Dembek, but the wall saves them as well as an immortality field. That's good coordination, but Love, there it is. They're going to find Gunther. Can't res the Reser, so that could be a big in, except for the fact that it looks like Redacted have decided that they would prefer to get the kills. But Dembek going down, not really a good walk. Karn finding Kuya, this could be anyone's fight.
Absolutely, and with Love up on the high ground now, he's got an opportunity to turn this fight in their favor. Maximencio using these walls effectively and going to allow his team to stabilize a little bit here as TE Lullaby back off side to regroup and come back in for another fight.
I don't disagree with that at all. The spawn advantage is majorly in favor of the attackers. They're going to get their players to the field much faster than Redacted will. And yes, they have entered onto the point. Love finds Max Dimencio. Dembek looking very low. The immortality field can't save them. And yeah, Brooks finding Sezion. That's not going to be enough here. Dragon's coming onto the field, though, does find Hero. And it's still no tick, but the kills are looking pretty good.
Yeah, unless Brooks can have the hero play and he eventually is just outnumbered and outgunned there on the point, will go down. And that's going to be TE Lullaby cracking through here on point A, being able to get this cart moving. And honestly, a pretty solid time here on point A. They're going to have almost 5 minutes to work with as this payload gets underway.
Yeah, that's kind of bonkers. Again, talking about that defensive busting, TE Lullaby looking very good. And again, they're not wasting any time getting into the thick of it. They're finding the fight very quickly, though Redacted trying to do their best. Not going to be able to find anything on the port kick. The Dragons rather comes out, not the grab. The hook, the pull does pull Dembek and Brooks into it. Dragons gets 2 again. That's crazy. Sezion even's going to throw out the Blizzards, but they'll get domed. Redacted all of a sudden looking very strong.
Oh, the Dragons look to be the opening they needed to push through here, but it might wind up being Karn with this whole hog who actually doesn't know Brooks. Able to get the healing, thank God for Gunther and Drake still alive at the end of that fight. But with the close respawns, that's going to be at least a little bit of movement here for Lullaby.
Yeah, Lullaby is going to be in the advantage here. Both Orisa superchargers going out means that both teams dishing out the damage. The Dragon's coming in. It's not going to grab anyone, but is going to split the team. Drake going down, Brooks going down. Again, the defense, yeah, they're going to be starting to folding as their team members. Maybe not in the best position compared to Lullaby's offense, which again, looking very strong. But they committed a lot of ults to that fight, but that's actually pretty much the same case for Redacted.
Yeah, we're more or less going to have a dry fight coming into this last one. Maybe Paduk can get the Dragons. A whole hog could be in the cards for Kuya, but otherwise this is going to come down to good old-fashioned cooldowns and finding kills here.
Yeah, and as the Sonic Arrows go in the May ice blocks just to keep themselves from getting hooked. Solid defensive action. Now it's going to be which Orisa shield falls first. It's going to be Dembek's. But Hero gets hooked and pulled and murdered. And that is not bueno. Immortality fields are down, but this fight is functionally over with your main tank gone.
No, they just have to turn tail and run. Even with that compensation kill there from Love, the res is there for Dembek. So TE Lullaby having to back off here. They are consistently having trouble with Hero Shield going down so early. Brooks is especially focusing that down, making sure that they can get fire onto that main tank because they know it's the cornerstone of the lineup here.
Yeah, Hanzo and Reaper have some of the best breaks in the city, but the Dragons going in there is massive again! The halt from Orisa pulls 2 in, and Paduk finds Max Dimencio and Drake. But Brooks' Storm Arrow way too strong, and also with their Dragons, but unfortunately, Paduk is the Hanzo of the hour here. Complete with the rest of their team, it's looking like it's going to be a point take, and plenty of time left on the clock for point C.
For the second time on this map, Hero just using these halts to the greatest possible effectiveness, pulling the members of Redacted out of that immortality field straight into the Dragons to make sure that they can get value out of an ultimate that normally is not one that's providing a lot of kills.
Yeah, it's a no bueno situation-o, and instead, from an ult that typically doesn't get anything, as Love murders Dembeck without their shield, that's not going to be a bueno situation. The res is going to come in, but that's a Mercy cooldown that you're not going to have, and with the Hanzos flying, ooh, okay, so Sezion dropping the Blizzard, that's going to be good times for the defense. They're going to get to stabilize here.
Yeah, they knew that they needed to take a fight before the payload got around the corner, and they do, you know, unload some ultimates to do it, but not a ton there. Just the whole hog and the Blizzard coming out for Redacted as they continue to try to take time off the clock. They've got to make a really strong stand here at the end of Hollywood if they want to be able to take the snap.
The Overcharger goes out very early. Dembeck is going to make sure that they have what the damage they need to also get this defense in, as Kuya actually has gone back to Son to swap over to the D.Va. Speaking of which, we've been seeing a lot of crazy plays here. Twitch MVP poll below the stream. Maybe save your vote, though, because I have a feeling a pretty sick push coming out as the Blizzard goes in.
Yeah, and the whole hog out as well for Karn, not quite finding anything, but they get Max Dementio and they're pushing forward.
Yeah, that's bonkers. The whole hog pushing a Mei out as Sezion having dropped the Blizzard. The kills from Lullaby just way too strong. Brooks is going to drop the Dragons. It's not but a Mercy left on the point. They're not even going to get the res off. Now it's pure stall territory for Redacted.
They're trying to stream back out onto the card, but even with Kuya eating up those Dragons, they're having a hard time finding the kills. When Dembeck can't do it with the Doomfist, they're in a little bit of trouble.
I super appreciate Max Demencio's strategy here, using wall and ice block to maximum efficiency to get as much stall on the card as possible, letting Brooks come onto the point just in time to get utterly murdered by Karn. And, of course, Foggy Bear and Paduk, who are going to do the damage. Loving the stall coming out here. The lower the time gets, the better for Redacted.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting close to the point where they could even kind of even things up as we head into extra rounds, but it seems kind of hopeless here to actually be able to turn this fight on its head. They've got to find kills, and they just don't have the ability to do that right now.
Yeah, no kills means that there's no way the stall can ever turn in any way, shape, or form. But even with the Dragons coming, there it is. Drake actually does find Paduk. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, they actually stall so freaking long. They almost pushed the time to perfectly equivalent with TE Lullaby.
So we are going to be perfectly even going into extra rounds. Both of these teams have exactly a minute to work with. It is going to be TE Lullaby starting out on the attack this time around. And wow, that is as close as you can possibly be in a round of Overwatch.
Yeah, that's bonkers. Rarely does a tie come out like that. This is kind of nuts. Well played, both teams. We thought they were going to be evenly matched coming into this, and maybe not this evenly matched.
I mean, every map so far has just been going down to the wire no matter what, so they are putting on a show for us right now. Neither team wanting to give an inch. And now it's kind of going to come down to, one, whether either of these teams can really, you know, break through here on point A and get the payload moving in the first place, and then how far you can potentially push in overtime. But I have a feeling that kind of any percentage on this point might be enough to get the win here on Hollywood.
Yes, both teams placed their defense on point A at a time well in excess of a minute. So whatever offense comes out here has to be frickin' amazing if it's going to result in a victory on this map.
Yes, and the only difference coming out from Lullaby is that Love going to be going over to the Reaper, perhaps looking to get a little bit sneaky, but Karn getting hooked in means that they just have to back off. They have to wait. They get one chance at this now.
Yeah, this is pulled pork. This is pick comp. You get one pick, the push is over, and losing your hog is crippling. It's literally almost as bad as losing your Orisa.
Yeah, I mean, that's losing your shield break in large part. It's losing the potential for those hook combos. Not going to land this time for Kuya, so at least TE Lullaby getting an opportunity to push in here. Love forced to wraith out already.
And yes, that is a good disruption, but a kill again. The halt and the hook is there. Sezion goes down. Love also follows. I have a feeling this is going to result in a very spicy, tasty defense as even more kills coming in. Dembeck does go down thanks to Badux's murder, but yeah, no one can touch the point, and so that's a perfect defense.
Yes, and now the pressure, swinging back to Tidal Esports here. They need to come up with a perfect defense of their own. Just a minute on the clock, so this is more than doable here. I mean, they were approaching the full hold the first time around, so I would honestly be a little bit surprised if Redacted are able to break through here. And yeah, if you're Redacted, is this the point where you kind of need to change something up? Because you I honestly don't think they're going to have enough time here if they try to kind of mirror, at least stylistically, what uh, TE Lullaby do. I don't know that it's going to be successful when you only have a minute to work with.
Yeah, we've already seen the identical push come out from TE Lullaby fail. It's exactly what they tried before, and we've already seen them. They need at least a minute and a half, 2 minutes to make that push happen with the heroes that they've selected. So it didn't work. They didn't get any progress. And yeah, Redacted has to try something new. Kuya showing up on the Sombra, that could be the something new. One tank, I don't know if that's the something new that you need.
Yeah,
Especially going up against Love.
Yeah, speaking of something new, Love going over to the Bastion for the first time tonight. We see this pretty often when teams only have, a short amount of time to defend the Bastion. So hard to break through unless you have some ultimates to work with. But it is, in fact, going to just be kind of a more normal 2-2-2 setup for Redacted as they try to push in. How are they going to respond to this Bastion?
So the shield break advantage is definitely going to be on the side of TE Lullaby. Love's damage is just way too strong. And wow. So yeah, Redacted rotate very quickly around to the left side. The halt's going to be taken to massive effect here. Defense matrix also hard to bust through on the defense. So it's going to be big kills. Who can get the first pick? That's going to be the deciding factor. Love finding Kuya, that's going to be pretty much it. There's 19 seconds left. There's not a lot that the offense can do here. The res comes in though. Drake goes down. Immortality matrix fields are big. So with no team going to be able to res anyone, who is it going to be? It's going to be the defense. We're looking at a tie.
Yeah, that looks to be the case as Love breaks out the tank mode here for the cherry on top of the cake. And I said we might see a tie here on Hollywood before we started. I thought it might have been the full holds from the very beginning, but it's going to come in the extra rounds here. Neither team able to make any progress during the minute that they had available. So map 3 coming into a tie situation. So neither team really able to get a leg up in this series so far.
I can't really see fault with either team on this one. They both, in terms of their defenses, offenses, I would have loved to see something a little more punchy. You know what the team's going to be coming in with is going to be a solid bunker. There's a lot of bunker busting options. There's ults you can build to in a minute that will enable you to make that bunker bust happen. Instead, neither team is going to make it through. So yeah, that's a draw, and that favors really neither team. It's 1-1.
Yeah, we remain 1-1 for 3 maps at this point. So these two teams, as close as you could possibly be right now. I mean, this is definitely one of the most competitive series that I think we've seen probably through the entire tournament to this point. And it's incredibly exciting to see where this is going to be headed.
Yeah, so since that did result in a tie, by the way, Tidal Esports Lullaby going to have the map banned, and Redacted once again going to be doing the pick. Before we get back to the good solid action, don't forget to throw us the follow and the subscribe if you're feeling plucky, because if you are loving this game, we love bringing it to you, and we love bringing it to a bigger audience. Also, by the way, lots of good solid MVP candidates coming out. The survey is just below the stream. Click your fave, or frankly, wait, because I have a feeling we're going to be playing quite a few more matches.
I mean, how do you even pick an MVP at this point?
Yeah,
these two teams so evenly matched. I mean, how do you even pick which team you're going to choose an MVP from? The race is still completely wide open at this point, and I think it's going to be borne out of the last couple of maps. Who really kind of earns those votes?
It actually is functionally impossible. Okay, there it is. Horizon Lunar Colony finally gets banned. I'm not saying that I hate the map. I would never say that. I would never say that on a live stream. but now that Horizon Lunar Colony is banned, good maps can be played. And Redacted is going to have the opportunity again to select the map. Important to remember that they were the one who decided they wanted to jump onto Hollywood. Whatever map Redacted picks, unless it is a King of the Hill style situation, Tidal Esports Lullaby is going to be able to pick their side. And yes, Redacted does pick King of the Hill, so side doesn't matter. We are going to be getting into some good times here.
That's interesting.
Yeah, right?
after losing on Lijiang Tower, they want to take us straight back to another control map here as we head to Oasis for map 4. This is going to be very interesting to see if they have any tricks up their sleeves, if they want to break out something like a Pharah from any of their DPS picks. Do they want to kind of change their approach at all here, or are they comfortable, continuing to run these kind of bunker v bunker setups? That's been the case for the vast majority of the series so far, but I'm still a little bit surprised by the Oasis.
And University definitely lends itself to a bunker particular composition, at least for the team that takes control first and sets up first. Orisa Hog can pull players into that middle area, eliminating from the fight, if not, from the field. But the rest of the maps, yeah, there's some Pharah play you could drop into here. We haven't seen Pharah come out. I think Lijiang Tower would have been the best opportunity to see the early Pharah. But in this instance, could potentially come out. Oasis not being quite as varied as Lijiang, but still presents different battlefields.
Absolutely, and the first one we'll start out with is going to be Gardens, the one that shares its name with one on Lijiang Tower. And I fully expect the Orisa is going to be on both sides. I cannot see these teams changing things up too dramatically at this point. They have been pretty locked into how they want to play, and I can't say I fault either of them for it, because this series could easily be going either way right now. This could be done right now. I mean, we're 3 maps in. Either of these teams could have easily won all 3, or we could be in the situation we're in right now, where everything is all knotted up. We, of course, are not going to be able to tie on this map, so we will have someone taking a lead and taking match point.
Yes, as opposed to this map being match point, this is going to result in match point for someone, dang it. We're going to have to make it happen. So, interesting. I'm going to actually kind of ignore Redacted for a minute here. They're showing Kuya on the Torbjorn. I'm just going to politely avoid the debate there. Love jumping onto the Winston, probably
That's
not
real.
Taste. Yeah, so, but Hero and Karn back on their Orisa Hog. That's a pretty much solid option. Now, Love McCree instead of Widowmaker. I like that.
Yes, a little bit more versatile here. You're going to have a hard time getting those long sight lines on Gardens in particular, so going to have a little bit more consistent damage. He's kind of looking for a flank right now. Foggy Bear could be in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, instead, though, Drake is the one, the Baptiste who gets hooked, thanks to that Orisa pulled pork combo, but Love is going to be the DPS that goes down quite early on, so Redacted looking very spicy here, except for Hero and Karn finding Dembek. So again, I'd rather target a main tank than anyone else. So it's going to be TE Lullaby showing the dominant strength here on the point.
Brooks trying to follow up on that dynamite, decides to drop in from the high ground, but can't quite do it. His teammates making it happen though. Max Dimencio and Drake trying to keep it going. Can't quite do it. It was a knockdown, drag out affair there, but TE Lullaby coming out on top.
Max Dimencio even threw out the dragons into that fight. That definitely was a misplaced ultimate. They're not switching off the hero. They're going to try and make this happen. They've taken dominance on the point. Bob is here. Brooks's particular companion. Yeah, that's going to result in a point take. I'm liking this. This is all right. This is the take back seas that we haven't seen ever. Redacted so rapidly ripping the point out from TE Lullaby, despite the blizzard coming in, and though that actually might be a short-lived retake.
It could be, but for the time being, Redacted sticking around, and Brooks gets the double kill with the coach gun, knocking them off the map.
That was bonkers. That was crazy. Even Foggy Bear. Oh no. This is nuts. So fantastic plays now coming out from Redacted, who seem to have found some kind of, maybe they all took a shot at Monster. I don't know, but their hype is real, and they're even coming up with some good ultimates. Not to say the least of TE Lullaby, but yeah, this is looking good for them.
until Dimbeck goes down early on. The res will be there for Gunther, so they're back to 6. The Bob is out to buy them a little bit of space, but dealt with quickly.
Oh, wow. Yeah, Lullaby coming in with a vengeance. Kuya's going to find Karn thanks to some mercy damage boosting goodness from Gunter. And now it's kind of equal again. No pulled pork action from either side. Dembeck, though, going to find Hero. And yeah, that's, again, a good solid hold. The ticker climbs.
Certainly, and now the remaining members of Lullaby just having to back off a little bit while they wait for their tanks. I mean, we've been seeing this time and again throughout the series. If your Orisa is going down, if that shield is getting melted and you delete it in an instant, your team going to have a hard time pushing, and that's exactly what happens in that last fight as Hero, the kind of centerpiece for TU Lullaby.
Speaking of a centerpiece going down, Kuya and the Immortality Matrix goes down, but wow, Dragons is going to be bisecting that team. And still no major kills coming in. Gunther is actually going to pop Valkyrie just to make this fight last a little bit longer, maybe get a little more interesting. There's the big Matrix. Will the kills? No! Max Dimencio finds Love before the High Noon could get any kills. Paduk grabs a little bit of a revenge shot, but... Ooh, oh, hang on a second.
He's trying his best, but he was in an awkward spot, and his front line is getting collapsed on by the remaining members of Redacted, who will, looks like, be able to take the 1-0 lead here on Oasis.
Yeah, the stall is going to now be coming in pretty big. Unless Love manages to pull a kill out here, it's not going to happen. They do have to abandon the point at periodic intervals just to stay alive, and yes, that will result in Redacted taking the first round.
And Brooks, I gotta say, looking incredibly, on point with this Ashe pick right now. We saw it briefly on Lijiang Tower, and it was, put to great use there as well. But there on Gardens, absolutely destroying TE Lullaby time and again. The Dynamites just putting down so much damage.
Yeah, specifically those cooldowns from coming out from books, especially that one particular scatter shot kill, Dua 2K. That was a little bonkers. It looks like Lullaby might have a difficult time with Brooks on that Ashe. Love going to be swapping onto an Ashe of their own just to do some damage. Seziun's going to be the one popping in onto the Hanzo here. No Hanzo coming out from Redacted. Interesting how that will affect their shield break potential.
Certainly, I mean, and now if you're Redacted, you're happy because you're forcing some adaptation out from TU Lullaby. No more 3 DPS on their side. They've got Love up on the high ground, though, and he is going to town.
Yeah, Dembeck, though, finds Hero. I always like to say I'd rather lose a DPS than a main tank, but when the main tank get reds, it might not matter. Ooh, that was huge! Dembeck gets pulled into the middle ground. Kuya also jumping down. The point's going to go to TE Lullaby to start.
It absolutely is. Love in firm control of the high ground, and the rest of his team just able to keep that frontline fight going long enough to win the day, but still, they finally get the flip there, but they've still got Kuya up behind them for quite a stagger here.
Yeah, that was a little dirty. Kuya is going to grab Foggy Bear. So the Mercy might not be able to get back to the point long enough. Looks like they might be running for a little bit of that taxi action on the behalf of Love's Ashe. But that's going to be a DPS you're not going to have for this fight. Curious how this early pick potential might be affected.
No, that's definitely true. It is going to be allowing Redacted to get in here, especially as Love is punished by Brooks.
Yeah, that's going to be the early kill. Max Dimencio finds Karn. So this is the similar pattern to what we just saw in the previous matchup. Lullaby gets to take the point early, but Redacted just uses the one ultimate necessary to take it back. And Brooks just casually pops off and murders more than half the team.
Yeah, they're doing a great job of managing to play with pace, even with these compositions that are kind of hard to push the limits. They're getting in, they're using a single ultimate quickly, and they're being proactive.
Yeah, that's the Crusher. Kuya is going to find Seziun before the Dragons actually takes any damage. No one's going to fall as a result. The ticker's going to keep on counting. That's not a good situation for Lullaby to be in, especially with Hero going down. That's going to be a hard reset they're going to need to pull off here.
Yes, but how do you even fully kind of reset? Now you've got Love as well as Karn stuck on the low ground and getting collapsed upon. Love still towards the center of the map and kind of sneaking around, but I'm pretty sure they know he's back here.
Yeah, I think that's one of those inevitable things. If it was a Sombra, you'd be a little more concerned. And Ashe, maybe not so much. Maybe they're thinking, oh, maybe Love's thinking that the big Bob play is going to be the big thing. But there's so many ults from both sides. It's going to be a rough gamble.
Yeah, so what do you do if you're Love here? Do you try to pop up through the hole and launch out the Bob, the Dynamite out first to give him some space? There it is.
You do pull the Bob out from the hole. What a great play. Brooks goes down very quickly. They get rezzed. Brooks's Bob even goes down very quickly. Love also goes down. Both Bobs going down before they have the chance to do any damage. But no point take means the ticker continues to rise, and the kills looking very strong for Redacted right now.
Yeah, and the Blizzard out from Max Dimencio means that the rest of Lullaby can't really push in when Love pops up with that ultimate, so they don't really get a whole lot of value out of it. He's separated from the team, and they are now in a dire situation here. I don't think anyone's even going to be able to get close to the point.
Yeah, if anyone can do it, it'll be the Doomfist, but it looks like it's not going to happen. The Whole Hog's going to keep them away. That's it. Redacted takes Oasis. Looks like the flip of the control point has turned for realsies. Now we're in match point territory, but Tidal Esports, I guess, based on what we've seen from these maps, they're definitely not out of the running.
No, by no means. I mean, this could still very easily be going to a map 6 should they come away with the stop here if they keep Redacted from closing out this series. A little bit of I would say, a stronger showing there from Redacted. That was the most kind of one-sided of the maps that we've seen so far tonight. They really looked in control. They were able to get those retakes that were such a problem for them on Lijiang Tower earlier, and they come away with the win and match point.
Yeah, for both teams, the offensively busting through someone's established defense has been kind of a struggle right up until Redacted, immediately after TE Lullaby took the point on Oasis Gardens. Just said, you know what? No, we're done. We'll let you have it for 19 seconds, maybe tops, and then we're going to take it back. And then they do the exact same thing in the University. I think this is, Redacted starting to pop off a little. Lullaby, we haven't had a chance to see them yet, but they weren't able to unseat Redacted from their point holds ever during this Oasis match. So that's going to be the big ticker. Whatever map TE Lullaby picks here after Redacted throws out their ban, I think that's going to be the key. Is it a map that they feel comfortable enough on that they can unseat Redacted from it?
Certainly, and one thing I would kind of be keeping in my mind if I'm Lullaby here and if I'm Redacted is just how good Brooks was on that Ashe. If I'm Redacted, that's something that I would like to be able to keep going if possible. The dynamites he's able to hit, when there's no defense matrix on the side of TE Lullaby, you're going to be able to find a ton of value out of that cooldown. And if Brooks is popping off like he was on Oasis, Redacted is a very scary team.
Yeah, the we've seen a lot from Brooks in these past few matches. It definitely seems that when they pull out the Ashe, it's difficult for Lullaby to compensate. So okay, so here we go. This is not necessarily the choice that I would have taken, given how powerful Brooks is on that Ashe. Redacted is in fact going to ban Hanamura.
That, I mean, in my mind, that kind of just falls in line with the fact that we always see teams ban out the 2 CP maps, the assault maps. It's how it goes.
Yep, it's despicable.
Yeah, I mean, imagine how good this game would be if every map just hybrid and escort.
Yeah.
But speaking of which, we are headed to Escort, and we are headed to Junkertown, which I like the pick here for Lullaby, because here's what it means. It means that you have no qualms whatsoever about throwing love on that Widowmaker, where I think he has shined the most so far.
Yes, you have Junkertown. Literally every phase of the map presents itself with fantastic Widow sightlines. The same can definitely be said for Brooks on the Ashe, though. So definitely a ballsy choice, but I think that sets up the matchup between Love and Brooks, which I'm going to be super looking forward to. And yeah, Redacted, they're even going to be sticking out on offense. They are going to be swinging out of the gate, Junkertown being one of the few maps left on the pool that is viable for a pirate ship attack.
And now, I definitely expect to see the snipers probably on both sides. Now, who exactly is going to be picking that up is going to be interesting for Redacted here. Brooks and Maximencio both shown an ability to kind of flex around the DPS roster. So if they want to go with like double snipers, I think that probably means Brooks back on the Hanzo and Maximencio picking up the Widow. It'll be fascinating to see exactly what they want to roll out with here as they start things off on the offense, looking to close it out here on Junkertown, wrap up the series, and punch their ticket into the next round of the lower bracket.
Yeah, meanwhile, just because it's match point doesn't mean we're not going to be seeing that match 6 that was so delightfully teased. However, TE Lullaby, Tidal Esports Lullaby. Yep, says Hanzo. Oh, yeah, love on the Widowmaker. There it is. The hamster confused me for a minute there, but no, this is much more comfy. Paduk on the Ana. Okay, I like this. Not the Zenyatta that we're so seeing. Now it's going to be the Mercy Ana. Those anti-nades. If Paduk can make the purple happen, this is going to be a very difficult attack for Redacted.
Most definitely, but they look like they are going to break out a very interesting composition here for Junkertown. Maximencio on the Bastion, and they're going to have 2 shield tanks with Dimbeck and Kuya playing the Orisa and Reinhardt to give him maximum protection.
Yeah, this is my favorite kind of pirate ship composition. Just guaranteeing that Max Dimencio on that Bastion is going to be able to get to the payload, and stopping this payload once it starts rolling, very difficult, even for that dual sniper composition.
And right now we actually have a bit of a flank coming on from Gunther and Dimbeck going around the backside. They've covered so much ground, but what is really the goal here?
Yeah, I'm not really sure, because Love seems to be making short work of everyone on the payload, thanks in part to Dimbeck not being there. The Reinhardt shield is an incredible resource to have for that Bastion. I'm curious as to what their game plan was. We'll never see it.
That was bizarre. I have never seen anything like that. It was a flank coming in from Dimbeck on the Reinhardt. He did, for what it's worth, they did kill Sezion, but in the meantime, Love just ripped the rest of their team to pieces. They only had the one angle covered off by Kuya's Orisa shield. So let's see if they stick together a little bit more this time. The whole team rotating around the back, although, no, they kind of fake it out, and they're doing the same thing.
Yeah, big split, and Dimbeck is going to get focused down very quickly. Somehow, miraculously, thanks to some focus they live, the Baptiste ultimate gets set up, but unfortunately, it's completely in behind the Bastion, and Sezion's Dragons make short work of the supports in the backline. It's, as far as pirate ship goes, it can be very difficult to get set up back on the point, and this is literally the reason why.
Yeah, so they're not exactly making it easy on themselves with the way that they're going about this, and now they're just fully ready to give up on the Bastion entirely. They're going over to a dive composition here. They do have Brooks nearly to his first EMP, but look at how spread out TE Lullaby are playing right now. They're going to be hard, but they get a 5-man EMP.
Whoa, the 5-man EMP comes in, a huge purple nade is going to come back out as a result, but instead it's going to be solid kills from both sides. Defense Matrix not able to defend off Karn long enough. The Dimbeck does go down, but man advantage looking like it's going to be at Redacted, except for Paduk murdering Gunta, and of course Foggy Bear getting that res off. And now we have Sezion dropping onto the Hammond. Point progress is being made, but it's still a good defense.
No, they managed to recontest there. The supports for the side of T-Wall by staying alive so long in that fight. Paduk and Foggy Bear just keeping each other up and keeping each other going in that fight for long enough for those reinforcements for Sezion to get back with that Wrecking Ball. And now this hold here on point A looking very doable for T Lullaby.
Yes. Now, Gunther going to be able to pull out the barrier soon, but Foggy Bear also going to be able to pull out the Valkyrie. Dueling support ultimates going in. It's as quickly as possible. Brooks, Max Dimencio, and Drake, they need to get their ultimates online if this push is going to happen.
Yeah, Brooks very lucky there, gets slept, but not quite taken out. The focus wasn't there. Now the dive comes in, but there's no real targets. It's just Hero on the cart.
Yep, but Hero does manage to go down. The barriers does come in, gonna keep everyone up long enough. Dembeck getting focused very low, and there's the blade. It comes out with the nano boost. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Paduk and Love go down. Hero gets rezzed, but without Paduk on that Ana, that's gonna be a huge quantity of healing that's gone. Foggy Bear, and again, the hack. The bomb gets dropped on the point. That's even gonna find Hero again. Stay dead, thank you very much. Foggy Bear hacked on the cart. They go down. Karn follows, not before Dembeck goes down, but that's gonna be point A. And it looks like Redacted have a match.
Yeah, that was a little bit dangerous for Redacted there. They almost get held, but they do push through, and now they'll go back to spawn, make a few swaps, get Dimbeck back onto the Orisa, which makes sense as you're moving into a little bit more of a close quarters area of the map.
And there you go. The point B push rather starts, and Max Demencio is going to start off with a murder onto Sezion. That is going to get rezzed immediately. No, they fell too low for the res! It doesn't happen, that's crazy! Paduk goes down, no heals, it's not bueno for Lullaby. And yeah, oh wow, this is that snowball potential that sometimes happens on Junkertown. Point B, very possible to just roll right through.
Yeah, I don't see how T Lullaby are really going to be able to make anything out of this defense unless Karn and Hero can drop down immediately and keep this fight going. He tries to break out the whole hog, but even with Sezion back on the cart in that ice block, won't last long. And Redacted, after nearly getting held on point A, are now full of new life.
And that's even a super rough ultimate to spare here. Karn going into what is very much so a losing fight. No stall potential really there. Now not going to have their whole hog when both Paduk and Hero are going to have major damage boosting ultimates available.
They definitely like to have that one back. But right now, they are on the back foot right now as Redacted continuing to push forward there. They're pushing into the supercharger from Hero right now.
And there it is. Hero is going to grab Kuya. Dembeck goes down. Dragon's tossed into a fight that is pretty much functionally done. Both tanks go down. That's no bueno for the offense. Redacted has no one left on the cart except for poor Drake, who, while they find Sezion, is not only going to get rezzed, but they're also going to die for the audacity.
And a good defensive retake to stabilize yourself a little bit there as T Lullaby. You don't let the runaway train just lose control completely and steamroll all the way to the end of the map. They stabilize, and now they get Dimbeck on the way in.
Yeah, Dembeck going down quickly, that's not bueno, but Paduk and Love going down, so Brooks in the backline, that could be a pretty solid option. Hero anti-nated, yes, it's the purples that make it happen. And Hog is going to get out of there alive. Sezion's not going to be so lucky. The payload's definitely going to be moving here. Poor Mercy doing the best they can. The Foggy Bear, they're even going to get hooked, slammed. They are somehow going to survive long enough to stall quite a bit.
Absolutely. Brooks does get taken out by a cheeky little storm arrow coming out from Love at the very tail end of that fight, but still so much movement on this cart for the side of Redacted. Now the supercharger gonna keep this momentum going.
Yeah, the Dragon's right on the cart. It's going to bisect the team a little. That's going to force Dembeck to move off a bit. That is an anti-nade onto both tanks. That's going to be no healing, except they live long enough. Gunther also popping that Valkyrie. That's going to find some kills. Brooks goes nuts. Finds the blade again. Grabs Hero. Despite Dembeck going down, it's not good. Karn even going to throw out the whole hog, only to get frozen. That's going to be a map finish in a fantastic display from Redacted.
Yeah, they really came alive. After getting through point A, they wake up. They want to close out this series here and now. And now they have an opportunity. If they can get the hold here on Junkertown, it's all over. Redacted move on. Lullaby out of the tournament. So they have to come up big here and now.
Yeah, I like this. This is really solid option. We've seen Lullaby do some really fantastic plays before. They toyed around with the Torbjorn to begin with. Then they got real serious and pushed it to this point. Now they're going to have to push it to that point again. If they want to stay alive here, they're going to have to do exactly what Redacted have just done. They have to finish the map, which on Junkertown, not really a 100% guarantee. It's pretty difficult. You see a lot of teams falter, sometimes on that B push, sometimes even just getting past that C. And of course, if you're going with Pirate Ship and that falls apart right at the get-go, it can be pretty difficult to get going again.
Certainly, so they will be doing their best to fight for their lives. Doesn't look like we'll see the pirate ship. There's still plenty of time for some swaps if they want to make it. Brooks, we talked about it earlier. Back on this Ash, I like the pick here, but interesting that he's going to be a little bit outranged by that double sniper setup of TE Lullaby.
Yeah, Ash has a particularly nasty fall off damage when it comes to her scoped attack, unlike Widowmaker. So, no, there they go. They're setting up a little bit further. Yeah, no Bastion coming out from TE Lullaby. Dynamite, however, going to be dropping right on the point. That's going to keep them in for just a couple seconds.
Certainly, but Love really going to have free reign of these incredibly long sightlines that kind of dictate how Junkertown Point A plays. He's not going to have a lot of pressure on him. Brooks is going to have his money. Oh,
I love to see it. Love to see it. Both Mercy's going to... Oh, no. Yes, both Mercy's going to get the reses there, so that's going to be a thing. And Brooks immediately wins the follow-up duel.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about the Ash. When you've got the damage boost, you can one-shot just as well as a Widow, and he is getting the better of that matchup, but Karn shuts him down and gets Gunther as well.
Karn's going crazy in this backline here. That's a little bonkers. That's very good for the offense. Karn is definitely going to get focused down here. They might even get out alive, but defensive spawn's going to take a lot longer to come back.
Certainly, and now they're down to 3 members on the cart. It's just the tanks alongside Drake. Even with that Amp Matrix out, they can't really find anything in the ensuing fight. Will get cleaned up relatively quickly. We have, unfortunately, just lost Hero from the game, so we're going to have a brief pause while we try to get the main tank back in here for Lullaby. But fortunately for them, they've already won this fight. They're going to get some momentum on the cart, and they'll have time to let their main tank regroup.
Yeah, not even Brooks' heroism is going to make a factor here. There's just too many bodies on from Tidal Esports that is going to push this cart. And yeah, I like that Gunther and Brooks and Max Dementia are back here. But Kuya dying, Dembek dying, Drake having already dropped his Matrix, this looks like it's going to be a pretty solid point A take from Tidal Esports. They're even keeping enough ults in reserve that once, they push through, they might not even need to use anything. Point B could be just as fast as Redacted's.
That's definitely true, but Brooks, if I'm being honest, has an opportunity to turn this fight around. As long as he's got the pocket from Gunther, he can come onto the cart. I mean, Seziun and Paduk are there, and there's no shield around to hide behind, so they are a little bit vulnerable right now. He's up on the high ground for the moment, not quite finding anything, as the cart will keep moving despite his best effort.
Yes. Okay, so hang on. There it is. Max Demencio finds Seziun with the Sonic Arrow. The defense has a chance to stabilize, to get that walk, and there it is. Brooks throws Bob right onto the cart, despite the res. Doesn't matter who's on it. If at least one person's there, it's going to be contested. You can't move it. But Love wins the duel back onto Brooks. Roadhog's ultimates flying across the field. Love goes down from Kuya's ults. The overcharger from Orisa is down. Brooks gets res. Defense is stabilized. Karn follows with the pulled pork. The Dragons is going to split the party, but it doesn't matter. Redacted has the kills. They're back in action. It's 2 minutes left for Lullaby to make this play happen.
And Seziun gets the nano boost as well there. So many ultimates committed for TE Lullaby in that fight, and it doesn't go in their direction. Now they're pushing into an entrenched defense with Brooks really popping off so far in this map, and things starting to get a little bit more difficult here as they've lost control of the cart.
And it's one of those rare instances where I think the ultimate from Baptiste is perfectly tooled. Defense Matrix, the Amp Matrix is a fantastic damage boosting thing, but it has to be placed perfectly if you want the damage to come in. But Brooks doesn't need it because of that Mercy Pocket. Hero goes down. Again, I'd rather have a DPS go down than a main tank. Speaking of which, Love has just made that a reality as Max Demencio falls right after Gunther, I think, has already dropped their res. But Karn falling, that's not good for the push. It's a minute 14 left. Ooh, this is going to be tricky, but I think Lullaby still really only has one more solid push.
Yeah, they could get to if they move quickly here, but so far they are just losing the frontline battle over and over and over again. Hero's shield going down insanely quickly. He can't sustain on the cart, and they don't have the shield break that Redacted do thanks to Love going on these flanks.
Yeah, there's the amplification matrix with the whole hog to make it happen. It's as good of a zone as you're ever gonna get, and even the dragons is not going to be there from both sides, but there's the hook. They find Hero, they go down. No more shields for Lullaby. This push is over and done with. Yes, that was as fast as Shy Guy said it needed it to be. They could have one more here.
Yeah, they'll have an opportunity to regroup and push back in here, but they're on the back foot. And right now, Redacted keeping the pressure up with these snipers pushing forward a little bit will back off to force one final decisive fight. Karn looking for a flank, but they have to know this is coming. They see him. They are prepared for it.
The overcharges are here. The Dragons goes out there, forces a lot down, but the immortality field was there. But Brooks's Bob goes down very quickly. Sezun is the first big hero to die. Lots of heroes looking low. The Dragons is big. Foggy Bear, that's it. Love goes down. Karn follows. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Redacted push. Lullaby right off the cart. No more needed. That's it.
There we go. After 5 long and insanely entertaining maps, Redacted going to be coming away with the win here tonight. They stay alive in the tournament. They punch their ticket into the next round of the lower bracket, where they will be taking on the winner of tonight's second match of Winnable and Triumph Academy. Going to be very entertaining in its own right, but they come away with a win here tonight, and it was very well earned.
Yeah, that was utterly fantastic. Again, these teams extremely evenly matched. Redacted finding that edge. In the very end, they're starting with their excellent performance on Oasis, and then finally creating a defense that was unbustable for Lullaby, while they themselves were able to push it all the way through to the end. Seems simple when you say it, but man, did it take them a while to get here.
No, I mean, that was a drug out series to the pretty much the fullest extent. No, we didn't go to map 6 here this evening, but we go the distance, the full 5 maps, and TU Lullaby put up an excellent fight over the course of the series.
Yeah, so well done to both teams. And it is going to be looking like we're going to be starting our post-match interview. And if I have it correctly, it looks like it's going to be Kuya, who is doing some real solid play from the side of Redacted. And that is going to be who we are welcoming into the caster's booth tonight. Kuya, congratulations.
Thank you.
So I want to ask just a little bit about kind of your mindset after a series like that. I mean, a really back and forth affair, a really even series for the most part. You know, what are you feeling after you come away with a win like that?
It's really satisfying since we lost to Lullaby in another tournament with 2 like substitute players. So coming back with the full roster, just like full force and winning the game 3-1 just felt really good for everyone.
Can 100% understand that, especially, getting pulled into the sub situation and then losing. You always have to wonder, was our coordination really as top tier as it could be? So now coming back here with the win, I'll bet that feels fantastic. So going into that Oasis match, that was definitely the turning point, y'all. As opposed to the Lijiang Tower performance, that was a definitive, okay, yeah, I get that they took the point. We're going to rip it right back from you. What was going through your guys' mind at that point in time?
So usually we're just trying to focus on the shield and break their tanks. Meanwhile, we just let Brooks and Max peel off and just frag out, since those guys are really aggressive. And the only person that we really had to worry about on the side of Lullaby was Love, since he's like a really talented player. So as soon as we shut him down or his tanks, we're fine.
Yeah, so it really seemed like the focus for most of the night was winning kind of that frontline battle. And of course, Brooks easily holding his own going up against Love. But was that kind of the game plan coming in to really focus down Hero as much as possible?
Yeah, since Bunker is like, we're kind of relatively new to it, but we're strongly but surely getting better at it. Since Lullaby likes to play the clown comp or the cheese comp, where the solo heal Baptiste with Mei or Risa Hog, Hanzo or Widow, just like that really weird 1 healer, 3 DPS, 2 tanks. So we don't really like going against that.
I can super understand that. Fortunately, however, there is going to be a 2-2-2 lock coming into play. So as far as Redacted's compositions we're looking, looks like you all are pretty much settling into that. Is 2-2-2 really going to shake up how Redacted plays?
Not really, since our team is one of the most flexible teams. We could play quad DPS, triple DPS. We could play any composition to a very strong and high level. So I feel like during 2-2-2, there's going to be a lot of teams that are going to be underperforming. But I feel like our team is going to be one of the top tier teams during 2-2-2.
Most definitely, and you will have your chance to continue proving that as you move forward through the rest of the tournament. Continue to try to fight your way through the lower bracket. Up next you'll be taking on the winner of Winnable versus Triumph Academy. Is there anything that you think you guys will be doing to prepare for that match?
Not really, since we usually just scrim and not try to focus too much on like counter comping or hard scouting and then playing what to counter, like who we're gonna play in tournaments. So we're just gonna come in, do what we do best, and just play our game.
Yeah, that's, I think, a solid recipe for Redacted to follow, especially with y'all doing some really sick action. Now, I want to ask, I don't know, this might be a little personal, but as a fellow tank player, I think I need to know. Do you ever feel like nailing the hook right off of Arisa's halt is like better than heroin, maybe?
I can't say that because I have my team in the chat and they can't know what I like, you know.
I 100% am on board with that. That's fair. But I do want to emphasize that you guys had some really solid pulled pork action. So if you had to, so you know, Kuya had some really solid hero selections out here, but when the 2-2-2 lock does come in, I'm not sure what the tournament rules are going to be for here. We know that the league is cementing that your role has to be locked in per map. Is it going to be more tank from you?
Yeah, since I'm a flex tank player, so I'm just mostly playing Orisa Hog or Diva. I primarily play Diva.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, it sounds like you and the rest of the team are going to slot pretty well into the 2-2-2 when it comes. But before we let you go, I just want to say congratulations on the win here tonight, and give you an opportunity to shout out anyone that has supported you that you want to give some props to in this moment.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to shout out Gabby. She's in the chat. She constantly supports me, as well as my team, everyone, all my teammates and the staff, Taylor, Vanny, Ashley, and Wick. They've been a phenomenal part of this journey through T3 and my Overwatch career, and I couldn't be ever more thankful for them. And thank you guys for letting us play in your tournament.
Absolutely, it's our pleasure, especially when we get the opportunity to cast a match like that. We're going to let you run back to your team, celebrate the victory here tonight, and take a little bit of good news back to them. You can let Max Dimencio know that he has been chosen as the viewers' MVP here tonight when you get back.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I can super 100% be on board with Max Dimencio as the MVP. It's just general play. In quote unquote general, as far as value goes, not to say the least of their May play, which as we go into this particular new meta, May seems to be one of the linchpins. I feel like if your May's not on point, your Hog and your Orisa have to be perfect practically, but the May walls can be where some of the sick crazy plays come in.
Certainly, and I think it's one of those positions that allows you to make a huge individual impact without necessarily being kind of like the carry DPS of the guy going out and clicking all the heads. So well earned, award there for Max Dimencio here tonight. In a lot of ways, a linchpin player, one of the flex DPS players for Redacted here this evening, and they come away with the 3-1 win here tonight over TE Lullaby. A fantastic series, and I gotta say, I enjoyed it from start to finish. It was a great chance to be here with you tonight, Threep.
100% agreed. Redacted TE Lullaby, congratulations to both teams, but it's Redacted who's going to be moving on. That being said, this has been the Overwatch watchers All-Star Brawl from Star Esports Live. I've been 3.007. Catch me on Twitch or Twitter at 3.007.
And you can find me at Shy Guy OW. Follow me for any other casting gigs, writing, all sorts of Overwatch stuff.
Have a good evening, everyone. Stay safe, and catch you tomorrow night.